Ladies, I want you to know today that it is okay to shoot your shot. Please shoot your shot. Because being single and not being single may depend on you shooting your shot. If you didn't know, today we're going to talk about shooting your shot. Cue my theme music. Hey Rebel, welcome to Untoxify Your Relationship. Here we will talk about all things healthy and how to get that toxic mess out of you and your partnership. I'm your host, Melissa Webb, a practicing licensed mental health therapist with 10 years experience. All right, let's go ahead and hop into it. Hey y'all, so we just gonna jump right into it. By my intro, we're gonna talk about shooting your shot. And do y'all remember back in the day? So again, I'm a millennial, so we didn't have cell phones and texting. And so we had paper and we had a pencil and we would write on there, do you want to go out with me? Yes, no. And then that last box was maybe. Do y'all remember that? Because I remember getting some of those, especially when I was in elementary school. We had no business talking about, do you want to go out with me? But we was doing it, and I checked my little box, yes. I had me a little boyfriend in second grade. It was so funny. But I also remember shooting my shot with a guy where I did it. I got a rejection and said no, but, I had to do what I had to do. I had to shoot my shot to see even if I had a chance with this guy. So, sometimes you gotta shoot your shot to get your person. I was on Instagram and it was a black woman. I think she's a therapist. She may be a therapist. I don't remember. Some type of professional, and she speaks at conferences. And she was talking about how she goes to these black conferences, like national conferences, maybe like a NSB, which is a black engineers conference or something like that. And she was saying it's a lot of fine men at these conferences, and people need to start shooting a shot with these men, because men ain't gonna always come up to you, and that's okay. Sometimes you gotta let the man know that you're interested. And she said she did it with her husband, and she's married, and she thinks other women should do the same. I agree, and that's kind of how this episode came to be, because I saw that, and then I read the Book of Ruth. Those little 4 little chapters, something just jumped out at the page at me. And I was like, yo, Ruth really shot her shot with Boaz. We always talking about how we want a Boaz, but we got to understand Ruth had to go outside to get her Boaz. Boaz wasn't FedEx to her. And so I was like, man, as many times as I read the Book of Ruth, I never seen this. So I'm excited to really talk about shooting your shot, because I think a lot of times people think shooting your shot is chasing a person, and that's not what it is. We're going to talk about the difference between that. And I'm going to pick out 3 points that I see in the Book of Ruth that's talking about how she shot her shot. And it was mind blowing. I was telling this to my homie. She was like, yo, you got to tell the people about this. So we about to get into it. Let's get into it. So y'all know me, I always got a definition for something. So I looked up shooting your shot, and I got 2 definitions for it. One is to let go of your pride and pursue someone you are interested in, or to take a chance no matter if you fail or not. See, that's a word for me. Taking a chance on something whether I fail or not, because what you got to realize is, if this person is for you, if this is a God-ordained person, that means if you shoot your shot, that you ain't gonna fail, because God is with you in this, right? Even if you shoot your shot and they say no, I still won't call that a failure. You know what I call that? I call that practice, because the more you do it, the more you get used to either getting a no or a yes or a maybe, and you'll get used to it after a while. And rejection is just protection to the next thing. And I think that's okay. So I think we need to, again, the first definition, say letting go of your pride, because if someone says no, that hurts your ego. It ain't about you, sis, all the time. Sometimes that person might not be ready. Other times they might not find you attractive. And guess what? That's okay too. I think it's okay to let your pride go and be okay with getting a no, because sometimes a no is a yes, because you probably didn't need to be with that person anyway. So the question that someone has asked me, is it okay for women to shoot their shot? And my answer is always yes. I think when it comes to women and shooting their shot, I think they don't want to because they don't want to seem like they are chasing someone. But my thing is always, how would they know if they that you're interested if you don't ever say anything? And shooting your shot is just saying, hey, I'm interested in you. Are you interested in me? Yes, no, maybe. That's all it is. You're not chasing. So let's talk about the difference between I'm interested versus I'm chasing you. So when you're interested in someone, you take the initiation in the conversation. So that is pointing something out like, hey, you look really nice today. I like that suit you got on. Okay, I see you, Jays. Okay, Jays, that's me. I'm always pointing out someone's shoes because I am a sneakerhead. Or saying like, you look handsome or something like that. Letting them know that you're interested, or just say, hey, we've been talking for a while and I really like our conversations. I was wondering if you would like to actually go on a date with me. That is letting someone know that you are interested. Now, it starts to become chasing when you start doing all of the work. It starts to feel like you're putting in all the effort. So let's take that example of, hey, I find you attractive. Let's go out on a date. And they may say, I don't know. You say, okay. And you keep bugging them to go on a date with you. Or you continue to text, or you continue to call all the time, all day, bugging this person. You literally become a bugaboo when you're chasing. You start doing the most when you're chasing. So that's the difference between chasing and being interested. When you're interested, you just let them know, hey, I'm interested. Let me know what you want to do. When you're chasing, you're literally just chasing this person and bugging the heck out of them. That can scare someone away. I'm just gonna say that can scare men away. That scare women away too, because women, that dude who you went on that date with, and all of a sudden they all up in your face. They texting a lot. They calling a lot. You try to set up boundaries and they run over your boundaries. That's how it feels when you do it to a man. that bugaboo dude. Destiny Child song about bugaboos. That's us too. Like sometimes we can be bugaboos when it comes to dating, and we really don't want that. So picture the bugaboo dude doing that to you. You don't do that to men. We just gonna let them know we interested, and we gonna leave it on the table. That's what we gonna do. Now, when it comes to chasing, I believe that is a self-worth issue. So a lot of insecurity. So when we are chasing, I feel like there's a fear of abandonment or a fear of rejection there. So this can be fear of rejection because you try to attach yourself to someone because you don't want to be by yourself, and you try to get them to say yes, so that way you don't get rejected. And then let's say that you do get rejected, then you throw an adult temper tantrum, and that can look different between a lot of different people. We can go to the extreme of like stalking, or we can go to the less extreme of just yelling and screaming on the phone and maybe cussing someone out and calling them out their name because you didn't get picked for the job. And that can be fear of abandonment because you don't want to be alone. So then again, you try to attach yourself to someone very quickly because you don't want to be alone. And if you are alone, you can feel abandoned. So that is why I think it's some type of fear of abandonment or fear of rejection. Overall, it is definitely insecurities, and we need to go get that worked out by a therapist or someone who can help you work through some of that trauma, because that fear of rejection and abandonment ain't nothing but trauma that has happened in the past. To work through that trauma and process it so that way we can be the best healthy version of ourselves when we're trying to date someone. Also, this rushes the process, right? Like trying to attach yourself to someone so quickly rushes the process of like actually liking someone. Like it rushes the process. It's just trying to go from point A to point D in like 0.5 seconds. When, courting someone, you get to know them, you get to know their quirks and all the things, and you get to realize like, oh, I actually really like this person, not just for their looks, but because we have so much in common. When you're trying to attach yourself to someone so quickly, you miss all of that. You just in it for the infatuation just because they look good, and you just trying to jump their bones. Let's just keep it a buck, right? So being able to slow down and really trust the process of dating instead of rushing, just trying to get to the altar, is very beneficial. So we don't want to chase. We just want to let them know that we are interested. So let's get into Ruth, the book of Ruth. There is 3 things that I see in Ruth. The first one is she was available. The second one is she had a really good crew. And the third one is she had confidence. So let's talk about availability. Just to give you a little background on Ruth chapter 1, because I'm starting in chapter 2. In chapter 1, Naomi's husband died, which is Ruth's mother-in-law. Ruth's husband died, so does Orpha, her husband died, which was Naomi's 2 sons. And so Orpha goes back to her home country of Moab, and Ruth decides to go back to Bethlehem with Naomi. So now we pick up in chapter 2, where Ruth is basically saying like, yo, we need some food. We hungry. I'm finna go out here in these fields and go get some food. And she says something that I love. She's going to get food, and she says something like, if someone finds favor, then great. Basically, if someone finds favor on her to let her glean in the field, then that's awesome. That means now that she can get some food. So she goes out and glean in the field, and Boaz noticed her. And then Boaz finds out about her. So her good deed went before her. So your reputation means everything. So ladies, I want you, and I'm speaking particularly to ladies. So if there's men that are listening right now, that's great. You will have your episode sooner or later. But ladies, know that your reputation means everything. Your reputation goes before you sometimes. And that need to be good or bad, depending on what your reputation is. So Boaz found out about Ruth because he asked people about her. And basically nothing but good things came back. Talked about how she is a foreigner and how she's taking care of her mother-in-law in this foreign country, and that's why she's out here gleaning. So Boaz went to her and basically said, you can stay in my field and I will protect you. That was in Ruth chapter 2 verse 9. And he made sure that she was taken care of. He told some of the workers to leave extra I think it was wheat, either wheat or barley that she was gleaning in the field. So they said leave some behind so that way she can pick some up. And so that's what the workers did, and she picked some up from the workers. And he also praised her for her good deeds. Again, her reputation went before her. He recognized like, okay, she's a good person, and he praised her for the good deeds, and he said he was going to protect her. So in verse 13, Ruth go ahead and accepts his compliment. She wasn't too proud to be like, sometimes people give you a compliment. You be like, well, I just threw this little thing on. It's okay. No, accept the compliment. Just say thank you. Sometimes you don't have to ignore a compliment. Take every compliment you get. Ruth continued to stay in Boaz's field until the end of the harvest season, which was probably another 3 months or so. So Ruth had to go outside her house to be available for Boaz to see her. If Ruth would never went outside the house, Boaz would never saw her. So yes, you have to be available. You have to be outside. And I'm not saying you got to be outside at the club. You can be outside at brunch. You can be outside at Trader Joe's. You can be outside at Target. I just want you outside. Get out the house. Get out the house. And before you leave, be like, I hope someone find favor when I get outside this house, because find favor on me. I need someone to find favor, because staying inside would not get you a Boaz. As we see in the text, she had to get outside the house. And just so happened, Boaz found favor on her and was like, glean in my field, woman. And she said, say less. So we got to get outside. Get outside. Make yourself available. Number 2, Ruth had a crew. Her crew was Naomi. Her mother-in-law was like, listen, You gleaning in this man field. He protecting you. He complimenting you. He know who you are. Okay, we about to set this up. We need wise women. We need a wise woman, women, or men, whoever, in our lives that can help us move through life, right? Because Naomi saw something. She was able to counsel Ruth on how to literally get this man. And the cool thing about Ruth was she was actually able to listen and receive Naomi's direction. And I think that's where some people get it wrong. Like, being able to listen to someone and receive their direction and being able to put that direction into action, that can be hard for people because, again, pride can sometimes make your judgment cloudy, and you're like, I don't really need anyone. I can do this by myself. And you really do need a crew of people to help you through life. But God did not intend for us to do this thing by ourselves. That's why He like, yeah, you got me and you got the body of Christ that can help you, a body of believers that can help you navigate this thing called life. And they got to be wise. They got to be wise counsel, because not everybody can help you. So you know who those people are. And I hope you all can find wise counsel. I talk about wise counsel probably in every episode, but I think it's so important to have people around you who can help you navigate life. So the question is, who's in your crew? And is your crew questionable? Because if someone in your crew is questionable, they might not be the people that need to be in your crew, right? Because it's important to have those wise people around you. And the third and final thing is confidence, or I can even call it courage. So this is where Ruth actually shoots her shot. I want to be clear. So when I was reading this, Ruth again, I literally was like, how long did it take for Ruth to glean in the fields, and then for Ruth to finally go lay at the threshing floor? Again, it was 3 months. So this wasn't hey, I'm gleaning in your fields, and then the next day I'm at the threshing room floor. No, this was, I'm gleaning in your fields. I'm getting to know your crew, your workers, right? I'm getting to know the ladies who I gleaned with, who took care of me, who gave me food. You know, I'm sure in passing they probably talked. Maybe say, hey, hi, how you doing? Whatever. But it wasn't the next day I'm about to shoot my shot. No, this was in the development stages. This was in the process stages. That's why I said in the beginning, you cannot rush this. Like, you have to take your time while you're in this process to let the process do what the process do. When you start rushing the process, if Ruth would have shot her shot in a week, I don't think it would have worked out. She waited until the season was over for barley and wheat, and then she shot her shot. Boaz is a businessman, so guess what? He was focused on his business for those 3 months. Soon as the harvest season ended, they had a party, and that's when she went to the threshing room floor. So pay attention to what's going on before you shoot your shot, because I think that's important as well. We see that Ruth was able to follow the advice of Naomi so that Boaz can redeem her. Naomi told her to anoint herself, hide herself when she's going to the threshing room floor so no one can see her, so she had to be going at night. Meet him at the threshing room floor, wait till after he celebrates, lie at his feet, and uncover him. I'm not here to discuss what lying at the feet means, because some people have their own meaning of this. I'm just here to talk about Naomi giving her instruction and Ruth following those instructions. So she did what Naomi told her to do, and Boaz wanted to redeem her. Why? Because 1, she had a great reputation. 2, she was a beautiful young lady. And 3, he was old. So I was reading some commentary, and the commentary was like, Boaz was probably old, Ruth was probably young, and he was just astonished that, some young women actually want to be with me. Because he's never been married. And the Redeemer is basically keeping the family name alive. So if, let's say I married someone, then that person dies, and usually like the brother will come and then redeem me, so that way the family name can stay alive. And so that's basically what this was. It was someone else who was at first in line to redeem Ruth, but Boaz said, I'm gonna go to the square tomorrow and do what I gotta do so that way I can redeem you, and by the end of tomorrow I will redeem you. Even though he knew that it was someone else, when he got there, he did his thing and he ended up redeeming Ruth. Something I love about Boaz in this whole redeeming process. Yes, it's a picture of Jesus redeeming us, but another thing I like about, another thing I like about Boaz is that he made this promise to Ruth of like, I know there's someone else that needs to redeem you, but I'm going to do it and it will be done by the end of tomorrow. Like, you can't tell me, like, I wish a man would tell me that and be like, yo, I got you. Like, by the end of tomorrow, we're going to be married. I'm going to have all the things taken care of. And then by the end of tomorrow, he do it. I'm your woman for life, because at that point, I trust you. And not only do I trust you, you're also a man of your word. Like, sign me up. Where he at? Because that right there lets me know that Boaz was a stand-up guy, and he was also looking for a stand-up woman. He heard of Ruth's good deeds with Naomi and was like, that's the woman that I'm looking for. And Ruth, on the other hand, probably also knew of Boaz as she was gleaning in the fields and hanging out with his workers. I'm sure she got to know what type of man he was, because the workers probably talked about how good Boaz was. So we have two people, not saying looking for someone. However, these two people show up in each other's lives and they're like, yo, we can probably make some magic together, and let's see what that's like. I think that's why Boaz was like, hey, I want to redeem you. And I think Naomi was like, hey girl, this is a good man. You need to be with him. Therefore, she was able to shoot her shot because she was available for Boaz to even see her. Naomi saw the good thing in Boaz, and Boaz saw a good thing in in Ruth. And Ruth had the courage to shoot her shot to Boaz to get this man and to be in the lineage of Jesus. So, ladies, shoot your shot. It's okay. They might say no. They might say yes. You never know, but you never know where shooting your shot will lead you. And in Ruth's case, she's in the lineage of Jesus, and that's amazing. In your case, I don't know what that can lead you to. That can lead you to an amazing relationship with an amazing person that can end up being an amazing life. So shoot your shot to get that. And that's it. That's the post. I'm done. Thanks for listening. Episodes drop. I'm trying to get them back to every Monday. I think I got a plan to get them back to every Monday. But they do drop on Monday. If you want to leave a review, please do so. I love reading reviews. I love getting 5 stars, even if it's 4 stars, if it's 1 star. Give me whatever you got. So leave a review on wherever you listening to this podcast on. Share the love. Share this with your auntie, uncle, and cousin, and let them know, like, it's this girl talking about relationships, and you might want to listen to her because she be right sometimes. Stay classy, stay non-toxic, and I will see you next time. Peace. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and share this episode with your family and friends. Don't forget to check out the quiz to figure out what your toxic trait is. The link is in the show notes. Thank you, and see you next time.